two. The first one is very straightforward. That's the polynomial one. So, okay. It depends on whether you rearrange the thing. If you try to rearrange the equation inside, you still need to keep the sign here. Okay, you still need to keep the sign here. But you already anti-diff it. Like when you get the actual answer, when you change it, the sign will just disappear. For example, this one will be 3x to the power of 2 divided by 2 minus 5x plus, well, 2 over 3 is the constant. You don't need to worry about that. Just leave it there, and you have x to the power of 3 to the power of 4, and then divide by 4, and plus c here. Okay, plus c value here. So that's 3 over 2x squared minus 5x plus 1 on 6x to the power of 4 plus c. Okay, this one is alright. Okay, B, I have talked about B yesterday, so I will make the form into this. Okay, I changed the form into this. Well, the integral sign is still there. I'm just changing the functions in between. So that's a minus 3 over 4 log E absolute minus 4x plus 1 absolute plus C. Okay, that's the one we did in class yesterday. Okay, for C. Well, C is a linear and the square root a linear. So we have 4x minus 7 to the power of a half. Okay, to the power of a half. Then it satisfies the polynomial, like the power function rule as well. So we have 4x minus 7. So plus the power by 1, we have 2 over 3. We divide the a value, which is divide by 4. And we also need to divide by the new power we have. That's the 3 over 2. And then plus c value at the back. So what we have here is that's a 2, that's a 1 on 6. 4x minus 7, 3 over 2 plus c. Okay, when you have questions, just ask me. I think those questions are easy, so I just go through that really quick. Okay, for D, when you see something divide by something, well, when something times something, you can't diff both and then times them together. You know, like we need to use the product rule. But we don't use product rule in the anti-diff. So therefore, I need everything to be in the form of plus or minus. I can't anti-diff the top and anti-diff the bottom and then divide them. That's not working. So I can only have plus and minus in between. What we will have here is 4x squared minus 12x and plus 9. That's expanding the top. And then the dx. Okay, that will be equivalent to what? I see a lot of you trying to do this. Okay, bracket that and times 2x to the power of negative 2, well, a half. That's the correct way as well, but I feel that's just not that easy to do. Okay, I feel it's slow. So what I will do is, you know the common denominator, that's 2x squared is a common denominator. So now I can still separate that into 3 fractions. Okay, that's what I can do. I can separate them as 3 fractions. So now what we have is 2 minus 6 over x. Because it's a linear at the bottom, so that will be a log. That's why I'm not going to make x to the power of negative 1. Even though I make x to the power of negative 1, I can't use the power function law. Okay, negative 1 doesn't work. And plus 9 over 2. X to the power of negative 2 dx. Well, I still haven't done the anti-diff yet, so I'm just changing what it looks like. So now I'm doing anti-diff. 2x minus 6 log e absolute x plus 9 over 2. Okay, so it's x to the power of minus 1 divided by minus 1 plus c. So now this can be changed to minus 9 over 2 and x at the bottom plus c. Okay, that's the first four. Well, first four is quite straightforward. Also in the calculator, if you want to find the anti-diff sign, what you can do is the shift plus. Not sure if I've talked about this before. Shift minus is that diff, shift plus will be the anti-diff sign, like it's a quick button to get the anti-diff sign. Okay, so for example, I want to anti-diff square root 4x minus 7 dx. Okay, dx, this variable will change according to what variable you have. And press enter, that will give you the correct answer. Okay, so they won't include the plus c. You need to plus the c by yourself. Okay, so that's D. Okay, for E, well, a lot of you ask me what you can do for E. Okay, what you can do for E. When you see linear divided by linear, we have talked about this type of equation in three places. The first place is when we sketch. This is the hyperbola function. Okay, this is the hyperbola. You know linear divided by linear is the hyperbola. So what I need to do is long division. Okay, the second thing is when we do inverse. Okay, when we do inverse, find the inverse for that. Because I have 2x, if you divide it, you have 2y. So we'll do long division first to get rid of 2x. I only want 1x. So we saw this type of question in inverse as well. The third type is when we do transformations. Okay, when we do transformations, we can see this type of function as well. It's a hyperbola transferred to another hyperbola, but we need to do long division to see the hyperbola form. Okay, and now what we do is anti-diff. Okay, when we do anti-diff, I need to do long division as well, because I can't do something divided by something. So we have seen this type of equation in all of this place already. Okay, it's a linear divided by a linear. So it's linear over linear. You can't forget about this. Okay, can't forget about this. You must remember we need to do long division. Or say more generally, it's not only linear divided by linear. It's when fx divided by gx. Okay, so I'll write it here. When fx divided by gx. Okay, they are power functions. Top, like the power of fx is greater or equals to the power of gx. I'll say the order, like the highest power, like the highest power. Long division needs to be done. Okay, well, it's not only linear divided by linear. It's just power of 1 and power of 1 on both top and bottom. That's why I need to do long division. You must do long division when the top order is larger or equals to the bottom order. We need to do long division first. Okay, so obviously when I see this is some case I need to do long division. Okay, I have minus 7 here. So this question equals to 2 minus 7 over x plus 2 dx. And that is 2x minus 7 log e absolute x plus 2 absolute plus c. Okay, that's a log because I need a 1 on top. The 7 is useless, so 7 is a coefficient, so 7, and then log e x plus 2. Any questions? You can ask. Okay? No? No? Okay. Okay, for this one, this is another one. Well, when why I see this, okay, why I see this, I was like, is in the form of a minus b divided by c. Okay, it's in this form, something minus something divided by another thing, or something plus something plus something plus something divided by something. So you have a single denominator, okay, a single term denominator. So what I can do is doing the same as the above question. Okay, that's what I can do. Separate that. Okay, separate that. Because I can't do divide. I need to combine things into plus and minus. No, separate things into plus and minus. So what I will have here is 3e, same base. Okay, same base. We minus the power. Okay, when we divide it, we minus the power. Minus 5e. You can treat this as e to the power of 0. I still have the same base, but it's a 1, e to the power of 0. So I will use 0 minus x minus 2. Yeah, and then dx. Or we can say minus the power at the bottom to flip it up. So this equals to integral of 3e 2x plus 2 minus 5e minus x plus 2 dx. Then this equals to 3 over 2 e 2x plus 2. We divide by the 2 and then plus 5e minus x plus 2 plus c. We divide by the minus 1. That's a really nice and easy exponential. Nice and easy. Maybe not that nice, but it's easy. Okay, if you use the right method to separate it and to get into some exponential minus some exponential, I can easily derive that. Well, the first step you need to think about is always get things into the right form. If it's not in the right form, I can't antidiff that. We only have what form? 3 circular functions, sine, cosine, tan of a linear, not tan, second square of a linear, and we have ax plus b to the power of n, but n can't be minus 1. Okay, x plus b to the power of n can't be minus 1. We have exponential ex plus b. Okay, that's it. And like the last one is a constant over a linear. Okay, so I'll just write here. Yesterday I think I have some confusion about like when it will be a log. Only the bottom is linear, then it will be a log. So it's a constant. Integral a constant over a linear of dx. That will give you log e something. Okay, it's only the linear at the bottom. There's no other form I will have. Only like the constant over a linear, that will give you log. There are no other case will give you log in method. Okay, in method. Okay, last two. Okay, sine 3x plus blah blah that. So you know I can also do this. I can separate them. Well, if you feel it's really annoying, I can't antidiff everything together. I can only antidiff the first part, not the second part. I can just separate into two things. Okay, that's the same. Like I can antidiff that first and then antidiff that, and then we plus the result together. We can't times the result together, but we can adding or subtracting. So sine will become what when we antidiff sine? Wake up everyone, sine will antidiff to what? Which one? Cosine or negative cosine? When we diff sine, what we'll get? When we diff sine, cos. Then when we antidiff sine, negative cos. Okay, it's like different. Okay, it's different. When we diff sine, we get cos. Then when we antidiff sine, we'll get negative cos. It's totally opposite. So we will have negative a third cosine 3x. Okay, for the first part. Negative a third cosine 3x. Then plus 18, 25 minus 16x. Negative a half plus 1, we get a half. Then we need to divide by a half. Also, we need to divide by negative 16. Plus c. Okay, divide by the a, which is the coefficient of the linear. Remember, we always involve linear when we do antidiff. And the coefficient of the linear always needs to be divided. Okay, so always needs to be divided. And then the power always needs to be divided when we do power functions. So what we get here is negative a third cosine 3x. Okay, what we get at the bottom is a negative 8. So what I will have is a negative 9 over 4 square root 25 minus 16x and then plus c. Questions? Okay, the 18 and the 8 get simplified and get a 9 on 4. Okay, so it's negative 9 on 4 square root 25 minus 16x. Any questions? Okay. If no, let's have a look at the next one. Well, I will separate that. Well, I don't really need to separate. That's 2 cosine 5x minus 1 minus x to the power of a half plus 1 over 2 e to the power of minus 3x minus 1 and then dx. Okay, it's minus the entire power, so it's minus 3 minus 1 and then dx. Okay, when we antidiff cos, what do you have? Positive sign. Okay, positive sign. Good. So it's 2 over 5 sine 5x minus 1 minus x to the power of a half plus 1 is 3 over 2 and I need to divide by 3 over 2. And plus a half times 1 over negative 3 times e negative 3x minus 1 plus c. Okay, divide by the a. Exponential is easy. Divide by a. That's it. So make it looks better. Minus 2 over 3x 3 over 2 minus 1 on 6 e minus 3x minus 1 plus c. Do not mix up power function and exponential function. When you deal with exponential function, you don't add the power by 1, okay? You don't add the power by 1. You just divide by the coefficient and that's it. Make everything stay the same. Okay? Yes? This one? You can keep it like that. Or you can say that's 1 on 6 e 3x plus 1. That's all the same. You can keep the negative power unless they ask you to use positive powers. Okay? Any other questions? No more questions? That's this 8th thing here. We have another 20 minutes left. I want you to think about anything you can't work out or feel difficult with. And if you're totally fine with these 8 questions, can you differentiate? First of all, I want to change something. This is 3e to the power of x. I forgot to type the x there. Okay, this part. This top numerator is 3e to the power of x, not 3e. Okay, that's 3e to the power of x. Okay, add the x onto the power. I forgot to type the power. Okay, so what I want you to do is Okay, not anti-diff, not anti-diff. I want you to differentiate that. See here? I want you to differentiate that. I want you to differentiate that. And I want you to show that. Okay, 4 questions. 5 minutes for 1 question. Well, if you still have difficulty with the 8 questions we just did, revise on that first. Try to remember the rule first. If you have no problem, diff those 4 things. Okay, differentiate those 4 things. Don't want to give you a lot of time in class to diff that. You do that now. Okay, do that now. 4 differentiation.